What is going on, guys? Carter here with Edged Mindset. We're taking a look at this automatic Stritch right here. I hate this knife. This is the biggest piece of crap. No, I'm just kidding. It's all right. I regret buying it, not because of the design or the stitch. I don't like the camo, man. I don't like the camo. I just don't dig it. I tried to sell this knife. Nobody would buy it, or at least for a reasonable price. Obviously, I could sell it for nothing. So I decided to keep it. And what would be cool? What would be cool is if I used the crap out of this thing, because I think what would make this look cooler is to actually get a bunch of marks on it, get some wear on it, get some wear on the blade. I think that might actually make it look cooler. Certainly wouldn't make it look worse, but we're going to review this anyways because this is the first automatic Stritch I've owned. I did have one of the Ramlock manuals, and I sold that one, but I picked this one up, and yeah, we're going to talk about this. So this is a collaboration with Borka Blades, which, you know, he's cool. I forget his name. Pardon me. I should know it because I was around when he was up and coming in Tough Thumb's shop, and he was just a kid that was hanging out. And then his career exploded, and he's highly sought after with the Stritch. Personally, I've never loved his designs. They've always kind of been a little bit goofy to me. Even though primarily I'm into knives for non-utilitarian reasons. Whenever I see a knife that has such a small cutting edge for how big it is, it always kind of bugs me a little bit. And these stitches are like a prime example of that. But still, very unique profile, very cool, very distinct. Like you always know when there's a stitch. So let's do some specs on this guy. It is a large knife. Has a blade of approximately, if I can hold on to this here, of what is that? Just over 3.5 inches, almost 3 3/4. Overall length of 8.5-ish. So not too bad, not too bad. Cutting length though, let's do cutting length. If we do it just straight back, it's about 3 inches. If we're doing it this way, it's about 3 1/8 or so. So not a lot of cutting edge for such a big, relatively heavy knife. But I don't think you're buying this for maximum cutting efficiency, if I had to guess. It is a heavy beach. 7 on the dot. 7 ounces on the dot. That, of course, includes the lanyard with the titanium bead. And as far as I know, so this is the signature series. You can see, has a signature on it. This is the only one that comes with a bead, which I found interesting. So there's a bunch of these in the camo. There's like the urban camo, there's the green, I think there's brown camo, and then there's the Arctic. The Arctic is the only one that comes with this titanium bead and lanyard. Part of the reason I got it is I'm a sucker for extras like that, and so I just had to get it. M390 steel, 6061 aluminum handles, automatic, titanium bent, just pocket clip, titanium backspacer. I believe, I don't know if these are steel. These might be steel, I'm not sure. Look how big that lockup plunger is in there. She's big. This is a beefy, stout son of a gun. You can see where it locks up right there. Lockup on this thing is bank vault. No wiggle side to side. On my SOCOM Elite, I mentioned that I've got side to side play on this. Actually, that reminds me, let's take this guy. We're going on a tangent. We're going on a journey. Okay, because I was wondering, I tried to tighten this up, and I was wondering if I couldn't tighten it up because it was already completely tightened, or if it had Loctite in it. It appears to have Loctite in it. I cannot budge that pivot. So I can probably, if I can get that to break free, I can probably actually tighten this up. Anyways, tangent, back onto this knife. Titanium stuff, really stout. One thing Microtech does really, really well, they do a lot of things well. One I want to point out is really stout construction. Like, they put a lot of screws holding this thing together. You don't need this many. You could easily have gotten away with a lot less than this, but one thing Microtech does is they hard use test their knives. They throw them around, they pry with them, they try to beat them up. And if they get any failure points, they change the design and make it stronger. Because Microtech is really into like manufacturing. When they first started, their big claim to fame was how tight their tolerances were compared to other makers. Nowadays, it's a lot easier to have tight tolerances with the modern machining, CAD programs, things like that. And so they don't really stand out in that regard so much anymore. But what they definitely do is on their engineering, and they're constantly revising their models. Like when the MSI and the manual Stitch first came out, they would constantly tweak kind of the construction of it to make it stronger, to make it better. They would look for weak points and they would add things to hold it together. Same with this. I mean, they really look at all these body screws. These are all there because during hard use testing, they saw failure points. And so they beefed it up to account for that, even though most people would never put their knife through that. That's kind of what Microtech does. They think about those things. They're trying to be good manufacturers. And in my opinion, they are. So little tangent there. So the big elephant in the room is the Cerakote, and I have pretty staunchly been anti-paint on knives and guns. I don't generally like it. I've wavered on it here and there. And this is one of the times I wavered on it, and I just don't love it. I don't know. Something about it just bugs me. I don't like paint. Just seems cheap, even though it's Cerakote, really high quality. And I know Cerakote performs very, very well as a coating. It still just isn't my preference. I prefer, I don't even know what you call it, like natural finishes, like chemical finishes, DLC and PVD and things like that, bonded finishes. I don't love paint. And this one in particular is a little odd too. It's got the white, which is going to get really dirty and bug me. And then it's got kind of this weird brown going through here, which kind of looks like it's getting dirty, but it's not. I just don't love it. I like it. I just don't love it. But that's why I'm thinking I want to maybe use the piss out of this thing and actually get some wear on it, and it might look cool. Because I don't think I want to get another auto stitch unless it's for a super crazy price. I was kind of eyeing the all black with the full serration or the DLC even, but those are pretty expensive. But yeah, overall, it's pretty cool. Ergonomics are fine. You got a lot of different ways to kind of choke up on this thing. It's really the same as the Stitch design. So if you're familiar with that at all, whether it's a real Stitch or the manual or the auto, it's very, very similar. They kept the thumb hole here. Obviously, it's not functional, but it has that look, that Stitch look to it. So that's pretty cool. Centered, everything's good on it. I just don't love the Cerakote. I do still really like this bead though. It's pretty nice. Titanium bead. All right, guys, so that's it. Stitch, Auto, Arctic, Camo. Let me know what you think down below. Do you think it looks cool? Do you think it looks cheesy? Do you like Cerakote or do you not like Cerakote either? Let me know. See you guys.